Welcome to Gentle Anchor, a podcast hosted by mom and son, Michele and Noah. No topic too tender. We talk with honesty, curiosity, and zero taboo.
Hey guys, what's up? Here we are, ready for another episode. We're excited. I don't know if you see a third person in there, but Noah's going to introduce our guest for us. But we're going to get started. Basically, this episode, we're going to talk about parenting styles and why I parented the way that I do, and then birth order and how that plays a role in parenting and stuff. So it's going to be pretty good. We hope to entertain you a little bit and to, have some fun. So I'm Michele.
Hi guys, I'm Noah.
And I am Tabi.
I'm gonna introduce that dweeb over there. So I'm being nice today. I'm supposed to be nice. This is our esteemed guest, as I was told to say. Our esteemed guest, Tabi. She's my older sister. If you were to look at her though, you definitely notice she's younger because she's like really small and short. So she's like 5'2". So everybody thinks that I'm older, which I'm more intellectually older than she is, but it's okay. So she's super cool. And we thank her for joining us and seeing the wise words that she's going to give us today.
Yes.
So kind of you, Noah.
Yes. So we're going to start with that drift check. And for Tabi, we'll kind of tell you what that drift check is. And basically that's when Noah and I just check in with each other and see how we're doing or how the week has gone. And so we do that pretty regularly. So Noah, how's your week been?
It is pretty good. I don't think anything too crazy. I had a lighter week last week. I got my ankle practical exam grade, or not exam, my grade back. And I took that one at like 10 o'clock at night, and I thought that I failed miserably. But I got a 90 out of a 92, which is actually so clutch.
Awesome.
And then my girlfriend and I just had our 1.5 year anniversary date.
Yay! Wow! 8 months.
It's not very good, but we painted we painted Bob Ross.
Wait,
And it's
good.
actually really good. It's kind of bad, but
buddy, that looks great.
This is mine, so
good.
I bet Riley's is better though.
Hers actually didn't turn out at all, so we just painted over it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, good. K-Tab, we'll check in with you too. How was your week?
It's been pretty good. I didn't have any assignments for one of my harder classes this week, so that was really nice.
Good.
It's been a little bit easier. And then today's been a little bit of a crazy day, but that's okay. I had a good weekend. Got to go and see the fall leaves on Friday, so that was really fun.
Good.
It's been good.
Good. Great. I'm great too. Thanks for asking, guys.
I was just gonna say how are you, but you started talking. I literally started going.
I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not.
I was just about to say it, and I'm good. All right, Boomer. Okay, Boomer.
Anyway, I'm good. I did not have a very busy week at all, so that was kind of nice. There wasn't anything crazy going on.
But you did in fact go to the casino. Now it's clutch.
Yes, I did go to the casino, had some fun, played some bingo, won a little bit of money for our upcoming Disney trip, and it's pretty exciting. So that's actually had a really good week there. But yeah. So other than that, yes. So let's get into it, shall we? So basically, what we're going to talk about is parenting styles to start things off and kind of just talk about those styles, the different styles that there are. And then we're going to talk about how that kind of my parenting, how it shaped you guys. And so we'll go in from there. So basically, for our listeners, and I'm going to precede this. We are not therapists. We do not know anything. What we are telling you is based on information that we have learned over the years or, that we know. Nothing for anybody to take seriously as medical advice. So just to precede that.
I don't know. I'm an athletic training student. I can help with the medical advice.
Okay.
Gosh.
Anyway, we are not licensed to do that for therapy or anything like that. So parenting styles, basically there's 4 basic styles. Do either of you guys know what they are?
Authoritarian.
Okay. That's
all I got.
Is one of them like conservative or gentle or something?
So yeah, not like that's not the technical. No, that's good. The technical name. So the technical names are authoritative, authoritarian, like Noah said, permissive, and neglectful. So authoritative is that kind of like high warmth and clear boundaries and responsive, communicative, and flexible, which I would say I am. I would say that it was very authoritative to start.
like highly authoritative, if anything.
Yep. And then authoritarian is that high control, low warmth, strict rules, low room for dialogue, which I wasn't that. No. And then permissive, which is high warmth, low boundaries, indulgent, and avoids discipline. Definitely not me.
Definitely not.
Nah, I got beat way too much for that.
Noah! Spankings, which I am a firm believer in.
Right, me too. I just
Not
think
beatings,
it's funny.
though. Goodness
You
gracious.
act like
say,
you've been
you know.
abused your whole life. Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
No, but I
Not
got
abused.
spanked a decent amount. So.
You sure did. And
That's
then there's
you were a
neglect.
bad child.
And then there's neglectful, which is low warmth, low control, disengaged, inconsistent, emotionally distant. Definitely not that.
Which is way too many people in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of them like that.
Unfortunately.
But there are, of those 4, there's also like some subcategories. And those subcategories are helicopter parenting, which is over-involved, often anxious, can stifle independence. I would definitely say that I had moments of that.
Wait, what was that one again?
Helicopter
Helicopter?
parenting?
Yeah, what, like the...
Over-involved, often anxious, can stifle independence. I never
would say
stifled
that's
your
fair.
independence, but I would definitely say I had over-involved stuff, a little bit of anxiety and things like that. But I don't think that like I was never like a helicopter parent. Free-range parenting encourages autonomy and exploration. So I do think like some of these subcategories I had a little bit of influence in these things. Tiger parenting, high expectations, often achievement focused. Is that one?
Where does
And
gentle
then-
parenting?
We're getting there. Conscious parenting, which is mindful, emotionally attuned, and rooted in connection. And then the last one, well, there's 2 more. So there's love and logic, which is a parenting style, which is letting kids learn from their natural consequences of their choices with empathy and not anger. You stay
So
calm, show love,
silly.
and let experience do the teaching. And then the last one that we have, which is super common now, that we have heard so much about, is called gentle parenting, which I learned something about gentle parenting when I was doing some research, is that it's kind of close to both love and logic, but also authoritative in that gentle parenting leans more into emotional validation, collaborative problem solving, and non-punitive discipline. Gentle parenting is also about connection over control. It's built on empathy, respect, understanding, and boundaries, not punishment or fear. The goal is to guide, not dominate, to teach instead of shame. So
here's
I think
the
that
thing
I've
with
kind
that,
of... Yeah, hold on one second, Noah.
Okay.
I think that it's kind of, from my perspective, I've probably given it a bad rap. I don't think that gentle parenting is what I think I see a lot of.
That's what I was just going to say.
That everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that that's not what we've seen. I think what we're seeing now is probably a hybrid of all these things, of some kind of weirdness.
I think that what we're seeing now is a lot of the love and logic concept.
Maybe.
Mhm.
But also, I just think that people, and again, I'm not trying to like shame on the way that people parent.
No.
You know, and we talked about this in our last or a few episodes ago, is that if you're gonna parent, just be consistent with it.
Yep.
It doesn't matter which one you choose, just be consistent. And that's what you
Yes.
did really well, right? You chose that authoritative style from the
Yep.
beginning and you stuck with
Yes.
that. I'm not gonna say that you did it every single time, but for 80 to 90% of what you did was that style.
Yep.
Now where we're shifting from the disciplinary side of things to the logic side of things, to the let's communicate about it. I think a lot of it is just that people don't believe in disciplinary actions, and that's kind of those new subcategories are becoming the new categories because, that disciplinary side kind of got that bad rap. And it's played as, it's one of those things where you're not allowed to abuse, and abuse is not what I mean by that, but I mean,
Yeah.
the
Spanking is a
hands,
big thing.
you're not allowed to play hands on,
Hands on.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and then like there's verbal, there's mental, like
Yeah.
all these sides of
All those
things of
things,
like
yeah.
discipline that people think is abuse. Is
Yeah.
what I was trying to say.
Go ahead, Tabi.
think-
You had something to say.
I think people are just like, obviously, I think people are just trying to like just combine all of those. Like, I don't think people are really following any categories today. Like, they're just doing what they think is best. Or a lot of people are doing like, I feel like one of 2 things of like they're doing what they did growing up, and which was good, or they're doing the complete opposite of that. So I think you guys talked about at one point, like a lot. I don't. Maybe you haven't talked about it, but I feel like a long time ago, like different generations are parenting differently, and so
Good, Tab. Yeah,
sometimes
I
if you
can bring
have
that up.
like people that are parenting now, probably like millennials, like they're doing the opposite of what their parents were doing. So it might seem more like a gentle parenting, and they're like, okay, I don't want to do anything with violence,
Yes.
which personally I think is totally fine. Like, you do not need, like, I don't even think you need to really spank your kids or anything if that's not
Right.
what you want to do. But
Yeah.
I think discipline. There's definitely a very wide range of it these
Yeah.
days, and it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. So I think that what has happened with my parenting style is, like you guys said, and like we are going to talk about it, it'll come up more because, things is that I was authoritative when you were younger. So it was, was very loving to you, but if I asked you to do something, you were expected to do it. We set those rules, we set those boundaries, and you had to abide by them. At first, I think, and we're kind of going to get into this and stuff. When Tabi was born, it was very, very, very strict. Still, of course, loving, but very, very strict. It eased a little bit as you got older and Noah was born. But then I
And
think
we've talked about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that,
And I
but
think it was, sorry, you
no,
keep
that's
going.
okay. Just 1 second, Tab. But then now, as you guys have gotten older, I think that my parenting style has shifted to that conscious parenting, which I'll remind you is that mindful, emotionally tuned, rooted in connection, because I don't have to do that discipline anymore, right? Those are all things that we're going to talk about. Let's move into the other parts of it. So go ahead, Tabby. What were you going to say?
I think it's good that you had that switch too. Like
Yeah.
I was thinking about it after your guys' like last episode or whenever you guys were talking about it and how like, I think you making that switch when what we were in high school or whatever is really important because that's such a prime time in a kid's life of like we're going through so many different changes. There's all these things, and it's like I'm glad that that switch was made because I think if you're
Yeah.
still that authoritative as much as you were, like I personally don't think like our relationship would be as close.
Yeah, for sure. That's fair to say. So the next part is we're going to talk about is Tabby's perspective of my parenting and how she feels it changed or differed, being the firstborn, being a girl. We can talk about that too. That's fine because I think that might come up. Then after we're done with that, we'll kind of talk about Noah's perspective. And Noah, of course, this is not going to, you're welcome to join in and say whatever you feel like you need to say. So Tabby, how do you feel? And obviously you don't remember when you were a baby or when you were 1,
I
2,
do.
3, 4. Okay. All right. We'll get there. But you don't remember. But I would say that like when you were first born, I was very high strung. I didn't know what I was doing. You were my first kid. They call it like guinea pig, right? In the notes, it says trial run. I'm like, I don't call it that. I call it guinea pig kid. Like you were
Yeah.
that guinea pig kid. Like I tried everything on you and, it kind of like, I was like, oh,
She
okay.
was
So
the guinea pig kid.
yeah, she was. So do you feel that way?
No, not really, because I think
Oh, good.
I don't know. I think by the time I think every first child is a guinea pig. I think no matter who you are,
Yeah.
I think every child, it doesn't matter if I think even if you've raised sibling, like helped raise sibling, I think when you're it's still your first child, like it's still
Yeah.
a guinea
And you
pig and
guys are
stuff.
close
So
in age. So
yeah, and so
like,
like I don't even, and like you said, I don't even really remember that. I think by the time it mattered, it didn't really feel
okay.
like I don't know. Didn't really feel like I don't know. I think a lot of times with our kids too, like, oh, like you're an adult, like you know what you're doing. I don't know. I mean, now, yeah, I think everybody
Yeah.
definitely has that guinea pig child, but it's still like I'm an adult now, and I'm still like, okay, well, I need more of an adult.
Yeah.
So no, I
Yeah.
don't think I don't
That's
think I
good.
ever really felt like that.
Oh, that's good. Do you feel like we're treated differently than Noah? Like, did you ever feel like that? No?
Really? I think so for those of you who don't know, Noah has a lot of allergies, and one of the big ones is, like, milk, and so I feel like we would go to restaurants or something, and I'd
Oh,
be like,
good
"Oh,
point,
hey,
Tabby.
can I get, like, a Frosty or some ice cream or something?" And you would be like, "No, because Noah can't have it." And I don't so besides, like I guess that really is, like, fair parenting because you wanted it to both be fair, but I feel
Yeah.
like that's the only time that I ever really remember being like, "Oh, like, he's
I
the
re-
youngest, so, like, he's getting this special treatment because of this," but it wasn't even because of he's the youngest, it's because he just had these circumstances and stuff, but eventually it got better, and she was like, "Okay, we just have to get Noah something too."
Yeah.
I think that I remember that with you though, is that was one of the things that always just piss you off the most about like how like even with like this treatment style of like maybe I get to choose something for dinner and that you want, but like we have to eat based that I can have. So like
Yeah.
I remember you telling me like I'm not mad at you for always getting almost like what you want because it was like allergen related, but some days it felt like you never had a say in the food that we ate and stuff like that.
That's good to
But
know.
I can't even, like, contribute that to, like, our age, though, it was just that it was just the
A
circumstances and
It was
circumstance.
just
stuff.
a circumstantial.
Oh, Yeah, but I think that's the only time I'm like, okay, well, he's getting like this special treatment or whatever.
Right.
And so I feel like
Gotcha.
for the most part, we've been raised very fairly for both of us, and I think maybe that is why we like I like no, I don't know if you guys as listeners know, but Noah and I have a pretty good relationship to this day.
Right.
Like even him being gone and stuff, we still talk and snap and stuff, and so we still are very close. And we've been close for our whole lives basically, and like we are pretty close in age, and so I think it made it a lot easier for it to feel fair because I think there's different things like with me, I don't know. I don't even say like that there's a ton of differences with like, oh, me being a girl. Like,
Good.
I don't know, maybe with like dad, but I wouldn't say with you.
Good. That's good. How about
Yeah.
being the firstborn? Do you think that there was a difference in how I treated you being older?
I think there was like when we'd go to school and stuff, like you have to watch out for your brother, things like
When
that.
you were
But
younger, when you were
yeah,
little, Mister, I did not like first, second, third grade.
Since when was she looking out for me?
apparently, apparently I, went to school easier.
Yes,
Oh, we
At an
know
easier time, and then
that.
that's what she's talking about,
I I got a phone first, but
right? That's true.
You were older.
That's what
are
we're
we?
talking about. That's what we're talking about.
No, I know, but I don't think that ever even bothered me.
Oh, that's good.
but like, yeah, I
I would
so I
expect
guess
that.
that's something that I got because I was older, I guess, is I got a phone first. But
Oh.
nowadays, I think it's so funny because like Noah will come home from college, and if you see us, if you even like hear us, you're like, she's definitely the younger one.
I think the funniest thing now is that whenever we go and get food and you want us to pick something up, you always give me the card first, and you're always like telling me that I'm the one driving. It's like
Yeah.
And
I'm the older sibling now.
so let's talk about that. So there's like supposedly different traits for kids if they're the firstborn, secondborn, middle kid, youngest, blah blah blah. So firstborns, it says they tend to be more structured, be more responsible, and have higher expectations from their parents. And so they tend to become
Interesting.
more like rule focused and organized and feel pressure as they grow up. We don't have middle kids, but middle childs can be like, usually they're the
Middle
peacemakers.
child.
The middle child can be like the
Have you met
peacemakers.
my roommate?
Well, anyway, or the diplomatic, flexible, and often peacekeepers. And
That's
they
crazy.
sometimes struggle with feeling overlooked, which can affect how they show up. So there's that one. And then the youngest child often is more relaxed, playful, and less rigid. And that's usually because by the time, like, depending on how many kids there are, like, the parents are less strict with them. But they also are more permissive and creative, but parents are usually more lenient on them.
I disagree with that when it comes to you, though.
I've heard that a lot, but
I've heard that. I really have, but I don't think that was the case in
And
this household.
Good. I think that my whole outlook on raising kids was that I didn't want there to be an obvious difference between how I raised kids, whether it was a boy and a girl and a boy and a boy, whatever it was, however many kids we had. I always wanted to be able to say that I raised my kids the same. And that was why it was important for me to have you close in age. I mean, 21 months is not as close as some, but I feel like
Are we 22 months apart?
it's 21.
no.
Anyway, I feel like it was good for me to be able to have that age difference and be able to raise you without having to worry about too much difference. So you're right. I don't think that Noah ever got the youngest child treatment, right? Would you say that's fair, Noah?
It is 21 months. I just had to count.
Thank you.
Come on,
Like,
do the math.
I like to
do the
be
math.
You're right.
Sorry, what was the question?
So moving from Tabi into Tabi,
Right.
how Tabi, we'll move into Noah. And so from the youngest child perspective, which for you guys is not necessarily like, I guess these things don't fit the same because there's only two of you, but maybe they do. Do you feel like there was any special treatment as a youngest child?
I think that things just came quicker for me. So the things that Tabi maybe didn't get to do till a certain age, I might have gotten to do a little bit sooner.
Except driving,
which driving was, but like when it comes to like the trust level, like I got a phone at a younger age than Tabi did,
yes.
but that was still like that was because we were moving schools and like had different buses and stuff like that. So I understand that, but I mean, like, had Tabby and I stayed at the same school, I don't know that I would have gotten a phone at that age. But
Right.
also, I mean, that was something that, again, situational. And then just some of the things that we were allowed and weren't allowed to do, I feel like I don't want to say that necessarily had less um like
Like rules.
structure to and rules and stuff like that. But it just felt a little bit like as long as Tabby has done it first and you felt comfortable with her doing it, that I could do it even if I was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
So I think that just goes back to her like just seeing how things went with her.
Right.
But also, I mean, there were just multiple things that were throughout that were just handled differently, and I think that either one was because one of the things for sure was that you knew my friend's parents a little bit more as well. So you felt
Yeah.
more comfortable with me going and doing stuff
I'd say that's
with
true.
them. Not that Tabby didn't have friends, but I was just
Right.
more social than she was.
Yeah. I would say that's
So
true.
like, so that was something that was definitely different in our growing up process.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that also the other thing is like because I was a boy, things were just a little bit different. But overall, you raised us fairly the same.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
I can't really think of anything too
Good.
Yeah.
different.
I was like, even like, I feel like a lot of times difference is like dating sometimes, but I don't think like it was really
Yeah.
that big of a deal
No.
between
No,
us. It was
I mean,
basically
I
the same, like,
definitely went on my first date before she did.
yeah, but I think that like too, like
That
how they
was
react, like how both you and dad reacted was like, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. How you reacted was a little bit like, was a little different. Like it was the same for both of us.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think like I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like that mother daughter relationship too. It's almost like I don't know, like you were interested. No, I wouldn't even say that though. Like you were just both interested in both of our lives, and like when I started dating, when Noah started dating, like it was like, oh, like give me the tea.
Yeah.
But I do think with that it was a little bit different with the girl and a boy
Yes.
because I had to like I prepared him for like 2 weeks before I brought the first boy home. So,
Yes. I think
but
that's definitely true. But
I don't
yeah,
think that I even cared. I just was like, "Hey, Dad, look, meet my new girlfriend."
yeah. I think you definitely reacted differently than I do. But I think that that's also a testament of our relationship versus what your relationship is with your dad. So Noah, you don't feel any different from the younger perspective. That makes me very happy. Tabby, you don't feel any different from the older perspective. That makes me happy. And the fact that you don't really feel much difference from much. There's a little bit, not much.
Yeah.
From the girl and boy perspective makes me happy too, because I did try very hard to teach to guide and parent you the exact same way. Sure, you don't have to raise your
Oh
hand,
wait, I
Noah.
want to click the raise hand button on here.
Oh my gosh, would you? Thank
Stop
you.
it.
Noah
Did it
raised his
work?
hand. I have no
Yeah.
idea. Open the
Oh,
queue, it says.
interesting. I lowered my hand. Here's my question to you then with that.
Sure.
Because so now that we have gone through, who do you think was easier to parent, or did you think it was exactly the same?
That's
That's
a good
a
question.
I love that question, Noah. Thank you. And I was thinking about this. I feel that it was very different, right?
She's not gonna say.
From
She's
my
not gonna say it.
perspective. No, I am going to say it. I'm going to say exactly what I think. Tabby was an easier child.
Dang it.
Tabby was very laid back, very easygoing, except for when like Tabby had sensory issues. So
Noah,
you had
that is a very common thing in kids, okay?
super common. So Tabby had sensory issues in let's be real here. Tabby's kindergarten problem was she had sensory issues. We'll get to your kindergarten problems in a minute. Tabby's kindergarten problem was sensory issues, okay? So that but I really feel like so she would have a hard time with putting clothes on. If something like her socks would bother her, if the clothes, like there was a seam in her clothes, she was 5. This is very, very common. My kids are laughing at this, but I want parents out there to know that this is a very common
No
thing
one's just being mean.
with kids.
No, do you know why I'm laughing right now?
Why?
It's because now I have sensory issues.
Okay. But anyway, so when she was little, so when we were trying to go to kindergarten, Tabby had a hard time picking out clothes because they bothered her. So we had to come up with a system for picking out her clothes and making sure everything worked the night before, which she still does now, right?
Yes, and I was really picky about clothes too. Like I think what was I like 3 and like
Yeah.
picking out my own
Started
outfits or
picking out your own
whatever. And
outfits. Yes.
yeah, if you ask people that are close to me, it's like I have my outfit planned yeah, like at least the
Yep.
day before. But if there's something special going on, I'm like, oh yeah,
In
I
it's planned
advance.
like
remember
a
this
week in
process.
advance.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm
So
still kind of have like not sensory issues exactly, but like I'm still picky about jeans. Jeans used to be a huge problem.
yes.
And there's still like I shop from jeans at like one store.
And I'm gonna
Shout out
say
American
this,
Eagle.
American Eagle, right? I'm gonna say this too. I do feel like that is part of your organization, which attributes to the first child, right? So that's that organized part of you that I definitely would attribute to that. But that was your only thing that I had issues with you for like discipline and stuff. And you were very easy. Tabby was very easy to discipline, like, and again, I think that's that first child, like, like, oh, mom set these rules. I'm going to abide by these rules. And not to say that Noah didn't, it just took a little bit longer.
Yeah, I
So
would say I'm definitely that rule, not a follower,
rule follower
definitely a
for
plus.
sure.
A plus.
Exactly.
And I
And
was
then,
adamant about being right.
well, you were adamant about a lot
Yeah.
of things. So Noah was very much, when he was younger, he was much, so you asked me, how that different in parenting. You, Noah, were much more opinionated. And
Still
yeah,
am.
Still.
yeah, and that's okay. And so parenting you was very different than Tabby because whereas with Tabby, I would just have to say, Tabby, don't do that. Like, no, that's not okay. With you, it was, Noah, don't do that. But you were like, but why? And
I was just wondering, man.
that's right. But it was like, but why? And why can't I do this? But I
Rebellious.
want to try it. So it was like, I'm going to push my boundaries. So with you, the discipline was very much more there than it was with Tabby. But you
I-
learned very quickly.
I just wanted to be like my role model Icarus, okay? And then I always flew too close to the sun and got burned.
Okay, that's great. But so that would be the difference.
Mind you guys, Noah has never mentioned this once in his life.
Yeah, no, we don't know who he's talking about with Icarus. I mean, we know who Icarus is, but this is
Tabby doesn't. Look at her. She doesn't have any idea.
Icarus was a god that flew too close
I've
to the sun.
heard that story.
Okay. So anyway, back to where we were talking. So this is what happens. And if anybody knows has watched the past episode, you would know what kind of craziness happens when both the kids try to talk. But anyway, so that I think was one of the differences, I would say, not difficult differences, was how I parented you when you were younger, was that Tabby was much easier to follow the rules. Noah didn't necessarily do that as well. But you did learn, and you learned, the rules that I had. We put them into play, and you never broke them. Like you didn't. Neither
It's
one
because
of
I
you.
used to get beat as a child, and I was
You got
terrified.
spanked. Stop saying
Noah.
beat.
It's the same difference.
It's not.
It's
I
not.
didn't
People
get
say beat.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got spanked a lot as a kid, and I didn't want to get spanked or yelled at. When she
Exactly.
yells, her New Yorker accent comes out, and that's when you
Right.
knew she was mad.
Yes,
It was
that's
terrifying.
for sure. Right.
I apologize
So-
about the beat concept.
Thank you. So that was different. So, oh my goodness.
Would you say that it's the same now? Or now as we're adults or as we were growing up? Like, do you think it switched? Or did it become easier, harder? Or do you
Parenting
think
is-
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like and I guess that we talk about the shift that happened. So I
Mhm.
was authoritative until you got into high school. And then I realized that parenting has to look different when you have kids in high school.
That's some of the
because
hardest
they-
moments in a child's life.
That's when they're going through the hardest
Mhm.
things. And for me, I didn't want you guys to not carry that relationship that we had built when you were younger into getting older, when you got older. And so when you got older, I don't think I tried very hard to parent you the exact same way as you got older, right? So more of that communication, more of that I'm going to listen before I react kind of thing, because I was very quick to react when you were younger. I was very, very right. Good. Thank you. I was very quick to react and not give you guys an option to have a say, right? I mean, eventually it happened, but when the discipline was, it was my way or the highway, you guys didn't have a say in it. And so as you got older, I realized that if you did something that I wasn't okay with, I was going to have to listen first to know how to react. So why did you do what you did? Why is that not okay? And how can we fix it? Right?
And with that, we talk a lot about normalizing these conversations.
Yeah.
And that the unweird, the of conversations is just the
Abnormal.
the lots of
Yeah.
words. And I think that's where that of it was, because and feeling that our feelings about things. Because when we were younger, yeah, it was a lot of I'm right, you're
Just
wrong
do it because
kind
I
of deal.
told you do it.
Just do it because I
Yeah.
told you. And granted, it worked. We may
Yeah.
have not agreed with it back then. There were definitely times where I was like, I'm being punished, and I don't think I deserve to be punished. Like I have a
And
valid
punishment looked
reason.
very different from when you were younger to when you moved, like you got older.
Right. It did. I
Yeah.
was half the time, up until I was 12, I didn't understand why I was being punished half the time.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's just one of those things where we finally started, instead of, yeah, we got punished still, but instead of just that's it, that's the end of the conversation, we had that conversation about why we were wrong, or why we
Yep.
thought you thought that we were wrong, why we thought we were right, kind of deal. And how we can better handle a situation like that next time.
Yeah.
And then it made it very easy to then communicate about everything else after that.
Yep. It became a
Yeah.
conversation rather than a
Disagreement.
discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. It became more of a conversation. And so that's a really great question, Tabi. I think that's how it's changed. That was kind of what your question was, I think. Was how it looks now. And now, obviously, I don't have to discipline you guys. I mean, Tabi's 22,
Yeah.
almost 23. Noah's 21. I don't have to discipline you guys. It looks so different now. Now it's more of we have conversations. And, Tabi and I had a disagreement the other day. I hope you don't mind me. No, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but
Yeah, you're good.
how we kind of, we still disagree. Like we still disagree, but how that looks now and how I parent that is very different than how it was when you were younger, because this conversation that Tabi and I had, like we both were had high stress at the situation. We both felt very attacked by each other, but we were able to kind of communicate that to one another and say, "Hey, look, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm feeling. Okay, that's not good. Like we need to both like just sit back, relax and figure this out, like why we're talking to each other this way and why it's not okay." Do you have anything to add to that, Tabi?
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, like we were talking about it. We obviously had this conversation and the whole ordeal, and then even like the next day, like you were like, "Oh, I don't even know if I handled that well," and I was like, "Well, I look back at that as like, for me, I'm not a good emotions person. Like, I would say, like, I've listened to Noah talk about all his emotions and all these episodes, and I would say he's definitely way more emotionally mature than I am.
Oh,
And so now that and so it's funny because I listen to these episodes and the whole like, okay, what else? What else? Thing is like that's what I have to do with myself now. Like she's been doing
yeah.
that with us our whole lives, and it's been like a thing that like that's literally what I have to say to myself to figure it out. And so I was like going through all of this, but like self-reflecting on all of this, and I was so obviously this conversation was not a fun one for me to have, but I did
Yeah.
it, had the conversation, and I look back as it now as like a good learning experience for me because even at
Awesome.
22 years old, like, there's still things about communication that we're learning, like us young adults, like I mean, everybody, we're all going through life for the first time and we're going through a lot of these situations for the first time. And so it's really great to be able to, it's good to be able to have these conversations because then, at least for me, like, I know how to handle my emotions better. I know, like, how to have, even though I wouldn't say I'm great at them, I know how to have these conversations that do require a lot of emotions and being able to just talk things out and then learn from that, like being able to self reflect and be like, okay, yeah, I was wrong about this. Why was I wrong? And how can I have better conversations in the future?
For the next
Which
one, yeah.
I felt like that whole thing the other day was just like it's a good example of that of like, okay, like I know I did not handle that conversation well.
Right. Well,
How
neither
would
did
I?
I.
And
And
she
like let
says,
me
I'll let you finish.
just like let me figure out let's talk about it and now I know in the future maybe I can handle it in a better way.
Yeah.
And she says that she's not very emotionally mature, but that conversation sounded like it was.
That's sweet.
I'm learning.
You're
I'm
growing. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
growing.
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
mom, we're making a difference even in her life. Look
Hey,
at that.
listen to me.
Look at that.
I could not be a more proud mom than I am of both of you guys. I think that we have done a really great job, the three of us, working on open communication, having those conversations that everybody finds hard, and having built that from when you were younger to now. And like Tabi said, that we can have a conversation and learn from it. And Noah and I are always talking about on this podcast is that we're not perfect. We don't pretend to be, but we're just trying to, go through life and normalize the things that like this, exactly like this, and being able to still have wonderful relationships and open communication with each other. And I think that, I think the three of us, and I'm not going to take all the credit for it because you guys had to be a part of it in order for it to happen. And so I want to thank you for being such great kids from when you were younger up until now. And I think I've done a pretty great job in helping raise you to be pretty awesome young adults.
Well, thank
Oh
you for
my
doing the best
gosh,
that you
I
know how to
love that.
do. You know. All right. You know
Noah
what?
went so nice.
I was actually being nice, and Tabby's like, hmm.
Noah
I
went
didn't even hear what
nice.
Tabi said.
I don't even know what
She,
Noah went nice and I went sarcastic.
she hit you with yeah. Well, we tried, or something
I'm
along the
like,
lines.
I
I
guess.
guess. Uh,
Do either of you have anything else you would like to add?
I was just also kind of curious, like, do you think, like, as we got older, it was harder for you because of, like, I was a girl and a boy? Like, the conversations are obviously a
Oh,
little bit different.
yeah. No. The answer to that is no.
No?
I don't think it was harder because Noah was a boy and you were a girl. I think that I was always very willing to have I am always willing to have whatever conversation you guys bring my way. If it's, whatever it is, if it's sex, if it's, mental health, if it's, whatever it is, anything, I'm not eating well, I'm having a hard time at school, my friends are pissing me off, whatever it is, right? Whatever the
Yeah.
conversation is, like I think
all
one of the big
right.
things we talk about now is like starting a family soon. Like you're both kind of looking towards those things. Like, I mean,
Whoa. Wow. I didn't say that. Hold on.
we have talked about you and Riley's relationship and what that looks like in the future and things like that. I wasn't getting
Scared
that
me, man.
scary.
Scared me.
I'm just
My
saying
gosh.
we have all the conversations, and I don't think that there's any that that I handle any differently. I'm willing to have all the conversations with you. Of course, there's some that are uncomfortable, but hey, let's have them. Like, sure, I don't care.
We stop having weird conversation, man. Come
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah,
does that
so
answer
That one.
oh
that
my gosh,
question, Tabby?
yeah, that makes sense. I was just because I feel like sometimes I don't think it's entirely, but sometimes, you have the stereotype of like, okay, well, girls are more emotional, so you have to deal with
But
this
no,
differently, or like just stuff like that. Sometimes that's like, okay, or like hair and clothes, and me having a meltdown when I was little about clothes, like just
yeah,
different. So I
As I
guess
was
it,
the one having the meltdown about the clothes the other day.
yeah. No, I don't think that you guys have had a different, like you've had different issues to bring up or things that you want to talk about and stuff like that, but never a problem for me to have those conversations with either one of you. If Noah was going to talk to me about sensory issues, which he does, still have those conversations with him. It
yeah,
doesn't matter. I love talking to both of you. I love talking to you together. I love talking to you individually. It doesn't matter to me. I just enjoy being a part of your lives.
I forget anyways. Noah's the more dramatic one.
I'm gonna
Whoa.
stay at it. I'm gonna stay.
Come on now.
She's not disagreeing. No,
I'm
that makes sense.
I'm only
We are
dramatic
also
because
very we are also very glad that we have this relationship and have like you be as a big
that we
part of our
have a
lives.
mature mother.
Thanks.
She's
Most of the
dialed.
time.
She's dialed.
Most of
Sometimes
most of the time. Most
don't
of
come
the
She's
to our
like
house for dinner.
88% dialed.
Don't come to
Yeah.
our house for dinner.
Or game
Or
night.
when I'm cooking. Well, that is about gonna wrap us up. I think that we have kind of talked about everything, and I hope you guys have had enough was there anything else you want to talk about before I do that?
No, we're at that 43-minute mark anyways, so
Okay.
X
So
marks the spot.
X marks the
Sorry
spot.
for everyone that had to listen to Noah and I bicker the whole time.
Oh no, you guys, it wouldn't be if it wasn't. It wouldn't be normal if you weren't. So don't worry about that. Don't apologize. Don't ever
Playful
apologize.
baker.
Yeah, don't ever apologize for your relationship. You guys have a really great relationship, and I love it, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So let's lead us out, Noah.
Tabby, thank you for coming on our podcast this week. We appreciate you. I called you a dweeb earlier, but she's kind of smart, so I apologize for that.
Thank you for
Thanks.
having me.
You're welcome.
For all of our listeners out there, I just want to remind y'all that my mother is my gentle anchor, but your gentle anchor can be anyone who offers you safety and understanding. What matters is normalizing the presence of someone important and sweet in your life. So the next time that you feel the urge to share something to somebody, find that special someone or something along the lines of The person that makes you feel heard. That's what
There
it
you
is.
go. That's okay. We don't have to be exact.
I tried to go without looking at it and it didn't work.
I know. You can just say mine's like 2 sentences and I don't remember it, but here it is. We appreciate you listening. Every voice needs a safe harbor. Until next time, stay anchored in connection. Socials?
The socials. Tabi confused me with the. Hey guys, thanks for listening to us. Appreciate y'all. Much love. We really appreciate the support. Go ahead and hit that like, comment, subscribe on all of our socials. We got the Instagram, the YouTube, the Apple Podcast, the Spotify podcasts, the Facebook, sorry, and the Instagram.
The tiki-taki.
The tiki-taki. And then go reshare all those. So I think we're building a little bit more traction, and we'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on everything. So if you like what you're listening to, hit that subscribe button. And I'm gonna do this so that she puts a subscribe right below on the edit.
Okay, sure.
Right there.
And it doesn't cost anything. So subscribing is not like a subscription. If you're on YouTube, it's just kind of like Facebook, just liking, something.
It just keeps popping up our videos for you. Every week it'll just say new video. So
So don't think it's gonna cost you anything. We appreciate you guys. And until next time.
Tabi hit this with me.
She's got her
Sorry.
half. There you go.
Oh, that's
Okay.
terrible.
Bye guys.
Bye.